local forecast begins in less than a minute. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Farah Dhalla. Many of us were asking for rain, especially after such a dry stretch of weather across southern Ontario. And Mother Nature, she responded with this. Your Weather Watch continues. I'm Farah Dhalla, and if you're just tuning in, don't worry, we'll have another full look at your locals every 10 minutes on the 10. But you're just in time for our national forecast. We're talking about some of the big weather stories just rocking parts of Canada. I'll have all those details just ahead. The people still without power. More details on that coming up. But let's talk about some of the thunderstorm risk that we're still dealing with in the overnight hours. Well, throughout Windsor, London, and Toronto, we're seeing a non-severe thunderstorm risk, isolated and severe in and around the shores of Lake Huron. This is going to continue into Monday as well, but not so much towards southwestern Ontario. Pushing further east throughout the GTA, isolated and severe in and around Cottage Country. So make sure you stay tuned to the Weather Network so we can constantly give you up-to-date information on the development of these storms. But here's what's happening. This trough is bringing showers in the early morning hours across the GTA. So for your rush hour commute, you may be seeing some thunderstorm activity, showers in and around northwestern Ontario as well. But by Tuesday morning, you can see high pressure rolls in the region, so we're clearing out. The system is then pushing further east towards Montreal, the Ottawa Valley. We're still dealing with very hot, humid conditions across southwestern Ontario. That hasn't changed. Temperatures around seasonal, but when you factor in that humidity, feeling closer to the mid-30s. Over towards the BC coast now, well, your lack of summer is no longer an issue. You're finally seeing seasonal values in and around Victoria, Vancouver, mix of sun and cloud. Finally, temperatures in the mid-20s, so hope you enjoy that. And then in towards the interior, Nanaimo as well as Calgary, still seeing very warm conditions. However, across the west, we are dealing with a thunderstorm risk, non-severe in nature, over towards the northern parts of Alberta as well as Saskatchewan. Heavier amounts in and around the Interlake region of Manitoba. But by Monday, if you're traveling anywhere in and around Highway 2 from Calgary to Edmonton, make sure you take precaution. Treacherous downpours of rain could be associated with this thunderstorm risk in play. Now, in terms of your temperatures, we're still seasonal. We're nice and warm, right where we should be, right across the board. City of Bridges sitting at 28 degrees with beautiful sunshine. Across the east, finally clearing out for you. I know you saw some havoc of thunderstorms in towards Moncton and Fredericton. Thankfully, though, that is going to be clear and dry for you for Monday, so you can finally enjoy some sunshine all throughout Atlantic Canada. But of course, not for long. Weather is always changing. Thunderstorms roll back into the region for you on Tuesday.
This long-range forecast is brought to you by Raid Ant Nest Destroyer.
Looking at your long-range forecast, can you believe it? The weekend is already over, and for you across Atlantic Canada, it's double bad news, dealing with an area of low pressure, bringing in showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms. But over and around southern Ontario, high pressure in place, so you're seeing much better weather conditions. If you have plans to go out in the patio, do so. Tuesday is going to be nice and dry. You may see a wraparound behind this area of low pressure towards the east, but overall, beautiful day. Across the west, we're seeing an area of low pressure bringing showers all throughout the southern prairies. But for you on the BC coast, finally, you're getting a chance to enjoy summer-like conditions. Temperatures back to seasonal and dry for you. Still dealing with wet, soggy weather across Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, even in towards northwestern Ontario. But for Wednesday in southern Ontario, nice and dry, and that's all the way up towards the Maritimes, even Newfoundland seeing dry weather. But coming to Thursday, you're seeing some showery weather again in southern Ontario. This segment is all about you, our viewers. You know, thankfully, because of you, hundreds of photos get uploaded to our website, theweathernetwork.com. And these photos all have a common theme, having to do with the severe weather that just rolled through southwestern Ontario. That was your local forecast. Now for a look at the top weather stories. Hello, I'm Farah Dhalla. The storm that hit southwestern Ontario Saturday brought both relief and destruction to the area. The trough that pushed through the region, bringing much needed rain to many places suffering through drought-like conditions. Stormy conditions also muscled their way into the Maritimes on Saturday. Well, speaking of severe weather, thunderstorms can result in dangerous conditions if you're out on the water. Here's Shelley Steves with more on that. Some great tips there. Well, I hope you can stay with us. Your Weather Watch continues right after this. Chicago and its surrounding area have been hit with another round of rain. This is coming hot off the heels of record precipitation Saturday. Definitely a super stoking. Stay with us. Your Weather Watch continues. So much rain fell in just a span of 6 hours. Over 200 millimeters fell. Now, the good news, though, is that the heaviest rain is now over, seeing just a light sprinkle, and floodwaters have also receded. But that same area of low pressure that brought that active weather across Chicago is now coming towards southwestern Ontario. Here's our thunderstorm risk, thankfully non-severe in nature, isolated and severe, though, in and around the shores of Lake Huron. This is extending all the way into Monday, although clearing for you towards southwestern Ontario. Pushing further east, the GTA, you'll start to see a thunder or two for your rush hour early morning commute. Across the west, we're also seeing a non-severe thunderstorm risk in and around the northern parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan, as well as in towards the Interlake region of Manitoba. Now for Monday, a more severe risk in and around the mid of Calgary and Edmonton. You can expect some heavy downpours of rain, intense lightning, and windy conditions. More on this just ahead. Stay tuned. Your Weather Watch continues. I'm Farah Dhalla. If you just tuned in, we'll have another look at your local forecast every 10 minutes on the 10s. But before we get into some of the big weather stories happening across the country, I want to recap and show you what happened this weekend across southwestern Ontario. You know, our storm line was just ringing off the hook with people calling in, reporting severe lightning and thunder. Now, you are still seeing some thunderstorm activity in and around southwestern Ontario, isolated and severe along the shores of Lake Huron. This is going to continue for you across southwestern Ontario into the GTA, so during your rush hour commute, you might see a rumble of thunder and some lightning in and around Toronto and the greater Toronto area, continuing all the way up to the Ottawa Valley, even Ottawa and Montreal getting into some activity, thunderstorm activity. That's because of this trough, and it's bringing in some showers. You can see the heaviest amounts in and around the Lake Ontario, Lake Erie region. Also, northwestern Ontario will see a sprinkle or so. That chance of thunderstorms is there for you as well. But we're still dealing with really hot, humid weather conditions, and that's what's really providing the energy for these thunderstorms. Take a look at Toronto, 28, feeling closer to the mid-30s when you factor in that humidity. Over now towards the west coast, we are seeing finally seasonal values for you in Victoria, Vancouver. You haven't really enjoyed summer yet, have you? I know the past week you saw temperatures in around the mid-teens, but now bask in the sunshine, Vancouver 23, and that's primarily the story across the lower mainland. Over towards the prairies now, you can see in Calgary 27 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, but we are seeing a risk of thunderstorms towards the north in and around Edmonton, Cold Lake, also north of Saskatchewan, and in the Interlake region of Manitoba. But the heaviest amounts of rain could potentially be in and around Edmonton and Calgary, continuing on into Monday. So it looks to be a really soggy forecast for you coming up. Make sure you have your umbrellas handy. Across the prairies, these are the temperatures. As you can see, Saskatoon looking really nice, 28 with nothing but gorgeous sunshine. Again, those thunderstorms are towards the north of you, so you can bask in the sunshine for Monday. But I want to show you some of the active weather that New Brunswick was seeing this weekend as well. Torrential rains, as you can see on Saturday. We are seeing finally some dry conditions for you across all three maritime provinces, as well as Newfoundland. Finally seeing dry conditions and lots of sunshine. Taking a look at your temperatures, we're seasonal in and around Moncton, as well as Halifax. And get this, St. John's, after you've seen below seasonal values, you're finally going up there, 23 on Monday with nothing but sun and clouds.
This long-range forecast is brought to you by Raid Ant Nest Destroyer.
Looking at your long-range forecast, can you believe it? The weekend is already over, and for you across Atlantic Canada, it's double bad news, dealing with an area of low pressure, bringing in showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms. But over and around southern Ontario, high pressure in place, so you're seeing much better weather conditions. If you have plans to go out in the patio, do so. Tuesday is going to be nice and dry. You may see a wraparound behind this area of low pressure towards the east, but overall, beautiful day. Across the west, we're seeing an area of low pressure bringing showers all throughout the southern prairies. But for you on the BC coast, finally, you're getting a chance to enjoy summer-like conditions. Temperatures back to seasonal and dry for you. Still dealing with wet, soggy weather across Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, even in towards northwestern Ontario. But for Wednesday in southern Ontario, nice and dry, and that's all the way up towards the Maritimes, even Newfoundland seeing dry weather. But coming to Thursday, you're seeing some showery weather again in southern Ontario. Well, it seems nothing is impossible when you have a will. That's the motto hundreds of people in Taiwan chanted while performing handstands Sunday. Organized into 3 groups, initially the purpose of the event was to break the world record, although that didn't happen. The organizer who documented the fun said the event was an important step to encourage people to challenge the impossible. He also said the purpose of the handstand is to express 2 concerns. First, encourage people to develop talents and pursue their dreams. And number 2, understand that nothing is impossible if you have a will. Oh, what a great motto. I know I live by that. Stay tuned. Your Weather Watch continues right after this.